Welcome back, everybody. It's D with these tackle box. Today we're doing a little bit of R&R, just taking a little bit of time to regroup before our next week starts again. And at this point in time, we are glad to be able to be here with you guys and share a couple of the lures that we love that gain interest in our tackle box that we take with us sometimes to the fishing spots. And this time around, I am actually seeking your cooperation so that maybe we can help each other and inform other people that are watching this video today when it has to do with lipless crankbaits pre-1980s. So guys, hang in there and I will set this stuff up so y'all can take a look at what we got. And hopefully you recognize some of these lures and are able to put some comments down here that can help other people identify the method for fishing these suckers. What are we targeting? When are we targeting those things? And whereabout are you fishing these? Not talking about your destination, your favorite place, or your honey hole. Just what kind of presentation? Are you throwing them against the grass, bringing them out of the weeds, just open water, hitting those columns? Just let us know what's the best way that you recommend to use some of these lures, because a lot of times, and even for me guys, the information is not always ready available. When you go to Google some of these things, you cannot find specifics or reviews or methods of use for each specific lure. So a lot of times we base our knowledge and our understanding on what we are able to discuss with people such as yourself that enjoy the same hobby, the fishing and old lures, just like we feature on our channel. So hang in there. I'll set everything up and we'll get right into it. Now, one of the ones that we're going to talk about first is a Rebel. Rebel Lure Company had these really cool lipless crankbaits that make a lot of noise. And if you're starting to think, which one is it, let me make it a lot easier for you here. And there's a different one that's also called the Rebel Racket Shad. And so if you listen to the shake, rattle, and roll in there, sounds like it's got multiple units in there that make that little enhanced rattling noise. Now sometimes some people tell me, oh, a bass is not going to hit that sucker because it makes too much noise or it scares it or whatever. Well, for some of us, this type of rattle has been very productive, and we want to make sure that if that's the case for you, if you want to share with us how it is that you fish these and what's going on with the fish in your part of the area when you present something like this type of lure, please do so in the comments, and that way we can all benefit from that conversation. Now, if you notice, when I present these lures this way, you can see that this thing looks like a guppy with a swollen belly right up to here. And when I take a look at these lures, usually I notice the profile very close to mimicking the Bill Lewis rattle trap, which I consider one of the original lipless crankbaits, because those I use everywhere. These guys here, I had maybe about 6-7 years ago when I first started finding these and wondering what they were. At first I thought these were Cordell spots, but as I educated myself more on these and I started seeing more Rebel lures that were popping up on catalogs and things like that we had, one of them was this one here. And I don't know how many years it was in production, but regardless of that, this lure seems to be something promising for those of you that like to fish those rattling, vibrating crankbaits that are, or lipless crankbaits that are actually able to be cast pretty far with the weight in it. Now, I believe these must be about, I'm thinking a ½ ounce to maybe a 3/4 ounce lures, because I believe they're pretty heavy for the lure itself. Way different from the rattle trap weight, and sound is a lot different. So now, from what I understand, if I'm not mistaken, these were actually meant, and I got this one in this, I would call it a crawfish type of pattern, red belly all the way, and then the scales on the top and the sides right there. You can see the black ribs all the way down, and even the spot right there. So I have a couple of them. I have like about maybe a handful of these. This one is the Tennessee shad color with the you know, scales on the top. The dot is centered a little bit higher on this one. You can see it's got the gills on there, white belly, and the little orange to yellowish kind of throat. So if you guys know more about when to fish these, or where to fish these, or how you fish these, I mean, obviously throwing them out there and cranking them in, but from what I understand, these guys are supposed to be more of a fast retrieve, and I guess it does a wobble and the vibration that attracts the fish, like maybe the prey is just running away from getting caught. So I'm gonna try some of these, maybe not this weekend but the next. And if you guys have any comments in regards to these and more specifics as far as to exactly the window of time they were made, because I cannot find many of these. I've found a lot of other Rebel lures, but some of these are really hard to find. I mean, I see them every now and then pop up on eBay, but it's not the same thing as, let's say, for example, the Wee R's or the Deep Wee R's or other kind of crankbaits that Rebel made. Even the Pop R's are readily available everywhere, but these guys here I have not seen a lot. So if you guys know this lure and you have any advice as far as how to fish it and where, please let us know in the comments below. We would appreciate that a lot. It not only helps us fill in some of the information voids that we have in regards to the lure, but it also helps the other people that are reading the comments to maybe figure out what they got in their tackle box. And if by any chance they put them to work and they catch a fish, they'll definitely come back to this comments and realize that's exactly what they were looking for. So let's get moving on to the next one, which, if you thought that other one was kind of tough to find information on, this one here, it pretty much just tricked me. All day long I was wondering, this must be a creek chub because of the words up there, chatter chub. I thought it's got to be a creek chub, chatter chub. But little did I know, this is a Fred Arbogast lure from the 1960s. Now this must have been a really short-lived lure, because I don't see much information in catalogs or in any of the books that I have that talk about this lure itself. I don't even see a picture in any of the books or anything that I have that shows this. I saw it in a couple of catalogs and the inserts, but not much information other than a lipless crankbait that's a medium to slow retrieve on this one. And the sound on this guy, it's got one solid knocker in there, and it sounds pretty reminiscent of a vintage Zara Spook or a Pop R. Almost like one big lead knocker, kind of like the old Cordell spots as well. So this right here, my friends, is a Fred Arbogast chatter chub. So if you see these guys hanging around your local picks or whatever, where you go picking for lures, pick them up, because I don't think these are very common. Now value wise, I'm gonna say anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks if you find some really cool colors. But if you're one of those Fred Arbogast collectors that know this lure, have fished this lure, or know more or less what type of methods you use to catch some bass or fish with these guys, let us know in the comments. We are seeking your information on these models that we're presenting today. So this again, Fred Arbogast chatter chub, not a creek chub like I thought it was. So even then, every now and then, D gets tricked into thinking, what in the hell are we looking at? So there you go. Creek chub is not chatter chub. Fred Arbogast is the correct maker for this one. And from what I understand, came and went and did not survive as long as some of the other Fred Arbogast things that you know, like the jitterbugs, mud bugs, and other very popular lures that Fred Arbogast made. Now I'll move on to the next one here, because this next one I know the brand, but when I posted some of these pictures on my Instagram, a couple of bass tournament guys were asking about if these were what they thought it was, and yes, it's a Strike King diamond shad, and you can see the pattern right there. There you go. And it's the original vintage Strike King diamond shad. Got the little blush on the chin there, black back. There's the spot, and It has a similar design, vibrating sound like the Rebel that I just showed you, where it's multiple beads inside at the same time, and they sound quite annoying if you were a bass that's just chilling there. So you're definitely going to want to go after that. So if you guys are fishing this kind of like the rattle traps, then I know what you're talking about. But if this is something else, it feels kind of heavier than the rattle trap, and I think it has to do with what it's got inside. But now, don't be fooled, because there's also this one here that has no fin on the top. So I'm wondering if maybe one is a floater and one is a sinker or suspender, or I'm not sure what's going on. So if you guys have any information in regards to these two, Strike King is an awesome brand. It has many lures that really work, and these here are some that I'm definitely going to put in the tackle box and possibly take out there and try them out. I mean, the colors are perfect. They got the chartreuse on black and the, you know, the Tennessee shad looking color with the white belly, black dark back like that. So I'm thinking producers, maybe, yeah. So here's the sound on that. If you like those loud, noisy rattle traps type of lures and stuff, I'm thinking these are going to have the same action. But drop us a comment if you've fished with these before. What do you think about them? If it's just as good as the rattle traps or better, let us know. Strike King diamond shads, and like I said, there's a difference. This one has a fin, this one has no fin. If you guys know anything more about that, please let us know in the comments. This video is going to cover quite a bit of lures that we are still investigating as far as that goes. I found a really cool lure that I didn't even know the history about until I found this and I looked it up. And when I first found it and looked it up and I saw the actual, the way it was made and the form and everything, I thought this lure was made by LNS Mirror Lure, but this is a scooter, and it's also by Fred Arbogast, which I thought I knew a lot of the models in Fred Arbogast, but today we learned something new. These right here were from the 1960s, and this was Fred Arbogast's very first saltwater hard plastic lipless crankbait. So I'm assuming LNS lures, the mirror lures, they probably resemble the same type of action, fishermen to surf, and I don't know what target species. I'm assuming there's a couple of different fish that you can chase with these suckers. Now look how beautiful that lure looks. I love the pointed nose. It doesn't make much of a noise because, I mean, it's pretty silent, but it does have that flash inside of it. So I am thinking that as it cruises through the salt water, it resembles some type of injured bait fish or something. So please, if you know anything else about the Arborg Scooter, let us know what you think. If you've used them before, let us know what you've caught and how you present this lure, what type of line you got going on that. We haven't used these lures, but it would be interesting to know, and maybe we can take some of these down to the coast and try them out and see what target species hits this one here. 3 hooks on this one, so a little bit different from the double hook lures that I just showed y'all. On top of that, we have one here that I'm going to open up right now. This one is a little bit tougher because, well, not tougher in the sense that it's rare, but tougher in the sense that they stand quite a beating, because a lot of these Cordell lures that I've had and that I've used for bass here, man, they take a beating, and it's still, they're just beautiful lures that hold up really well. This one here, it's a Super Spot, 1/2 ounce. Sounds pretty loud to me right here. Let's see if we can get this one out of the box here, and I'll show y'all. Man, this is a beautiful lure. So I'm not sure what the color is. Let me see if I can find anything here that says it doesn't have a specific color name, but this kind of reminds me of like a sunset or a tequila sunrise type of name on that one there. But if you look at it, it's got a lot of glitter on that sucker. It's heavily glittered, so it does a lot of little flashy stuff as it's moving through the columns of the water, and you can see there, look at that, and it has a almost like a root beer color on the top, and then it flushes to a red, to a yellow right at the belly, and orange on the chin. I mean, that's a beautiful mix of colors, and the sound very loud, way louder than the other stuff that we were showing you guys right now. This right here sounds like it's got the same amount, but maybe a different material that's really loud as far as the vibration goes. So you guys, this is a Cordell Super Spot, and yes, there's plenty of these out there. I think Walmart carries a whole, you know, lineup of these, and so does Bass Pro and Academy, stuff like that. Pretty cool, loud lures. We're definitely going to use this one and try them out. We're not taking no rattle traps this time. We're taking all new things that we haven't ever tried out, and then we'll take notes and then see what, in comparison to any comments that we get over here, matches up with that, and then go from there. We're about the end of this video with these lures, but I wanted to show y'all a little special treat. So I found this the other day, and this one here, I had no idea what this was. This one looks very interesting, really cool colors, but I'm going to show y'all something here. You see that hole right there? Right at the top of the forehead here, it's got a hole that goes straight through, all the way through the back, under the belly, right by the tail. See that? And so, from what I understand, these guys are to be filled with some type of scent inside there, and as they swim, they leave a trail behind that attracts the fish. It doesn't sound at all, but then I found the box, and I found another one in there, and this one here looks very different. Ambush lures. This one is just kind of like a flow-through technology, it says, and if you look in the back here, it has a method of putting the scent in there, and then how when you're fishing it, it's releasing some of that scent, but at the same time the wobble that it has on it. But the interesting thing about this box and the way that I found this one, if you notice down here, it says new flow-through technology, stealth spinnerbait, silent, scented, more vibration. See that? And that's because this one comes set up like this. And I love these little twisted ties like that, because the line won't get away from there. But if you notice, it's a spinnerbait setup with the lipless crank. It's got a lot of stuff going on, because this one has a hook coming straight out of the tail, and this one over here has a whole different setup. This is a lipless crankbait type of fishing, and this is a spinnerbait type of fishing. And so we're going to try both of them and see which one produces better, and for what reason, and then what kind of water elements and things like that. So you guys stay tuned for the next video. The next time that we see you guys, we wanted to share a couple of other different items that we have on our roster for this year. We're staying pretty busy when it comes to picking up lures and things like that. So in regards to that, I'm going to show y'all here in some pictures a couple of soft baits that we have picked up, new old stock stuff, you know, from Mans and Revel, and let's see, we got a couple of other things like cram lures and different other soft baits. I think Uncle Josh and trailers and some of the scented tubes and things like that. So I was going to drop that picture here, and if you guys are looking for vintage stuff like that, plastics, new old stock, inventory of soft worms and creatures, and I even have some that are called French fries or something like that from way back before that youngster made that mold that is now becoming really popular, which is one of the things that I really love about doing this. So I saw this video where this kid is showing us how he's got these lures that he patented, and they look like French fries with little segments all through it. And when I saw that video, I saw, in my mind, I was thinking, you know what, I remember this type of lure. And so I looked through my stuff that I had, and I remember finding a box, or a bag per se, of They're called Centipede, I believe, and it has almost the exact same style, the exact same layout, almost looks like the exact same mold. So when you're looking for vintage lures, feel free to reach out to us. We got everything from soft baits to spinner baits to a couple of other things that we're going to show you on here. We're going to put a little link over here to our eBay store, and if you have any other specifics that you want to ask about, like specific lures, specific colors, I mean, we got a whole bunch of these Zoom plastics that date back quite a bit. Really cool colors. Some of them are no longer being made. So you guys reach out to us. Don't be afraid to drop a line. Until next time, this is D's Tackle Box signing off. Fish out.
Crankbaits.